objective world.
Yes. The results of action affect only that which is material. And if you are experiencing the results of your actions by way of gratification or hurt, then you must know that the experiencer is material. The truth is not really interested in doing or receiving the results of the doing. The material does, and the material experiences the results. In your life, if you are finding that you are experiencing the results of your past actions, then you must know that you are not the experiencer. Some material is the experiencer. The material includes consciousness also. This is good news because it implies that you can safely quit the job of experiencing. You anyway are not the experiencer. You anyway are not the receiver of the results. This hand tossed up the ball and this hand received the ball back. Material tossed it up and material got it back. Why are you bothered? This hand may succeed in catching the ball. The ball has just went up. The ball went up, the ball comes down. This hand may succeed in catching the ball, or it may fail in catching the ball, right? Only two possibilities are there. If the hand succeeds in catching the ball, who has succeeded? The hand has succeeded. Why are you rejoicing? Why are you so happy? And if the hand fails in catching the ball, then who has failed? The hand has failed. Why are you struck with grief? Whenever you experience anything, know it to be a result of something else. No experience is ever fresh. Every experience is the next step in a chain that can be seen as an infinite regression. For sake of simplicity, you could just say that every experience that you receive is a result of something in the past. In the past, the doer was the situations. Right now, the one receiving the result is also a product of situations. So you have no need to really be affected by the results of action or by any experience that you ever have. Experiences are not false. The experiencer is false. Experiences keep happening. The hand is experiencing the ball land on it. The hand is receiving the ball. But when you start saying that you have received the ball, then the experiencer is false. We hardly ever say that the hand caught the ball. We say, I caught the ball. Now this is false. Something caught the ball, of course. Material caught material. Unnecessarily, I is being dragged into this phenomena. Material caught material. Who is this I to take credit? Who is this I to suffer or rejoice? Material knows no intelligence. Material only knows cause and effect. In life, whatever is happening to you, put it to one single test. Is this absolutely new, or is this related to something in the past? If it is related to something in the past, then it is just deadness. It is a cycle of cause and effect manifesting itself. You say you like a particular kind of food. Would you have liked it had you not been born in the country you were? You say you like a particular language. You say you like a particular mannerism. You say you like anything. Would any of your likes have been existent without your past? Do you ever like anything without a history? Please. Have you ever liked anything totally afresh? You like for a reason, and the reason always is in the past. Hence, one has no need to be serious about his likes or dislikes. All of them are just manifestations of material cause and effect. Something happened to the material in the past, and the result of that is exhibiting itself now. Why are you worried? Why are you worried? You like a particular sport and you call it your passion. Would the sport have been your passion had you not lived in the environs where you did? You are prepared to lay down your life for your country. Really, would you have done that had you not been taught the lessons of patriotism? Coming to even more intimate choices, would you have liked the man or the woman you are crazy after had it not been for the material genes and the material upbringing? Don't you see that people of a particular place have a fondness for a particular skin type, body type, mind type, language type, ethnicity type? Obviously, it is not their choice. Their choices are a result of the situations they were in. And if it's the situations determining our likes and dislikes, including our intimate love affairs, then why do we associate ourselves so much with our choices? That does not mean, however, that our choices are to be killed or disregarded. It's a fine line. The choices can exist. You have to see where the choices are coming from. You don't have to unnecessarily act as the chooser. You must know that it's your past talking. You have a preference for plum cake. It's all right. You are entitled to have your plum cake. But even as you rush after the plum cake, you must know that it's the past running after the plum cake. You have a fondness for a particular place. The fondness arises from the memories that are associated with that place. You are entitled to go to that place again and again and drench yourself in the emotional wetness. But even as you do that, just remember that it's a game of memories playing out, and the game has very little really to do with you. Let the choices exhibit themselves. I repeat, do not become the chooser. Instead of this, a lot of contemporary spirituality is about letting the chooser remain and killing the choices. It is like inverting the thing upon its head. You have upended what is right. I am insisting, let the choices remain. Let the chooser lose his power. Instead, so much of our wisdom literature focuses on eliminating the choices. When you look at the choices, then the chooser conveniently and safely hides and smiles. How do we look at the choices? We say, do this, do not do this. Go this way, do not go this way. Ask these kind of spiritual questions. All of these are relevant in the domain of choices and actions. They are not looking at the actor and the chooser. Are you getting it? Let the world do what it wants to do. Let the body do what it wants to do. Let the hand do what it wants to do. Let them do what they want to do. Let them do what they are programmed to do. Let them do what is their prakriti. Let the entire drama play out. Because it is anyway going to play out. Even if you interfere, it would still play out, but with distortions. So why distort it? Let it just smoothly play itself out. You don't get dragged into it. You have no need to fight somebody else's battles. You anyway can't fight. And even if you pretend to fight, you won't win. The body is programmed to be excited and aroused upon looking at a certain gender and at a certain body type and at a certain age profile. You don't need to curb the arousal. You just need to let the excitement be. Yes, of course, the body is excited. Who is excited? The body is excited. Yes, the body is excited. Let the body be excited. And let the mind and intellect decide what to do next. In the middle of all the excitement and stimulating experience, why can't you remain free of the excitement and free of the experience? Instead, we commit either or both of the two mistakes. We either try to curb the arousal. When you are trying to curb the arousal, again you are becoming the doer. You are unnecessarily curbing that which is not at all your province, your area. You have no jurisdiction in that zone. Your powers are not applicable there. and still you are unnecessarily interfering. You say, this excitement, this stimulation, this arousal is wrong, immoral, or whatever, harmful. So you try to curb it. When you try to curb it, you become the doer. You think that by curbing it, you are gaining freedom from doership. No, by curbing it, you are only deepening your doership. Or you rush to the other extreme. You say, now the arousal is happening, I am getting aroused. Here again, you are beginning to take ownership of something that does not belong to you. This is called theft. The arousal belongs to the bodily juices. The arousal belongs to a piece of flesh. The arousal belongs to a material body consisting of molecules. Why are you gate crashing into somebody else's party? You are not even invited. One body is eager to meet another body. It's a celebration of bodies. Who are you to join in? Uninvited. Who are you to offer your wisdom unsolicited? You don't need to curb it. You also don't need to stroke the embers. Neither do you need to douse the fire, nor do you need to stroke the embers. The fire knows when to burn. The fire is being driven by its own existential programming. You are nobody to mess with that. It is said that even God does not fiddle with the rules of material nature. Gravity will do what it will do. Even God is not going to mess with gravity. The laws of physics will stand their place right till the end of time. Things know what to do. Things know what to do. Why are you worried? I tossed up a flower yesterday. I want to toss one up again. And I want to ask you, when this goes up, do you pray that it must come down? When this goes up, do you wish that it must come down? Come on, please. It will come down on its own. You are not required. Your interference does not matter. If it goes up, it will come down on its own. You may keep wishing anything. Of course, you may wish, when it is going up, you may wish that let the upward journey cease and let the downward journey start, please. And when the same happens, then you can entertain yourself with the idea that you did it. You know what? I wished so strongly for the flower to fall into my palm that it did fall into my palm. No, sorry. Your wishes didn't have anything to do with it. This is material following the laws of material. It does what it does. Is 2 plus 2 4, or is 2 plus 2 plus desire equal to 4? I'm asking you, is 2 plus 2 equal to 4, or do you add desire to 2 plus 2 to get 4? If 2 and 2 meet, 4 will result. Where is the question of you and your desire? Why are you desirous? And if you desire, would 2 and 2 become 7? Material 2 meets material 2 and results in material 4. Why are you adding yourself to the equation? Body was born, body will die. Why do you say you were born and you will die? Why do you perk yourself up on every birthday? I was born this day. Seriously, you were born? In what way? Cells met cells. Genetic material danced with genetic material. Things reacted. Things. And then there was rapid multiplication of cellular material. And then somebody is crazy enough to say, I was born. I was born? I meaning who? Which particular atom are you referring to? And after birth, it's all atoms and photons. Sun, air, water, food. Where are you in this? Where are you in this? Even that which you call as consciousness, the whole thinking process, thinking, feeling, don't you see how material it is? What is the definition of material? That which is within the domain of time and space is called material, right? You call this as material because it is within space. You can know its boundary. You can attribute physical properties to it. That is why it is material. Is that not the definition of material? Now, is there anything in consciousness that is not in the domain of time and space? Then why do you call your thoughts and precious feelings as alive, as non-material? And to make matters even more comical, we call them divine and heartfelt and whatnot. Is there any thought that is not about the material? Is there any thought that is not about an object? What else is consciousness? Thoughts, feelings, ideas, images, concepts. Is there anything in consciousness that does not cover time and space? Whenever you think about something, don't you? And whatever you think about is always located in time and space. It is material. The entire expanse of consciousness and its content is material. Now, why then it must be taken seriously? We are not condemning it. We are just reflecting on its true nature. To know something is not to disrespect it, or is it? To know something is not to reject it, is it? Please, if we are looking at consciousness, if we are trying to determine the true nature of consciousness, does that mean that we are dismissing consciousness? No, we are knowing it. Let things happen. because things will anyway happen. So it's no use poking your nose. All you will get is a bloody nose. You will not be able to stop the flow. Emperors have come and emperors have gone. Superpowers have risen and fallen. The mightiest have gone down the same lane as the meekest. Nobody has been able to arrest the journey of the material. The material arises from the body and journeys up to the grave. And in the middle, in the interim, there is so much chaos and ruckus and ideation and that which we call as life. Why are we?
Why are we possessing?
Possessing what?
Possessing the object.
Because you do not take the object as object. When you are in possession of your girlfriend's letter, is it just object or is it the promise of satisfaction? Come on. Object is taken as a promise beyond the object. Had you known the object as object, things would have been so simple. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to look upon objects as objects. But for us, objects are not objects. The I sense is hungry for something. That something it tries to search in objects. If it feels that one particular object will provide that thing to it, then it tries to ensure its fulfillment by owning that particular object. I have been told that this particular handkerchief is going to provide me with divine fulfillment. It's a yogic tantric thing that has just arisen from the vastness and depths of Kundalini Jagran. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to take me to divine bliss. Will I now allow it to leave me? I will possess it. I'll possess it because it is promising me something tremendous. This is possessiveness. My life depends on it. My sense of satisfaction depends on it. How can I let it go? This is possessiveness. Whenever you are dependent on something or somebody, then for your own welfare it becomes important that that thing or person does not leave you. So you ensure your own gratification by enslaving that person. This is possessiveness.
But it's still objective. Like you're possessing objects.
You are possessing an object, and an object that promises to be a bridge to the beyond. An object that promises to give you non-objective fulfillment. Objects have all their boundaries. Objects are all limited. But certain objects promise to take you to the unlimited. Certain objects claim that they are bigger than themselves. And we may be deluded. It's possible. The hallmark of intelligence is to firstly see that no object is beyond itself. Everything that has a boundary, and hence can have no claim upon the infinite. Everything that is mental, everything that is a product of thought, has boundaries and hence can have no claim upon the immense, the total, the unlimited. When you see that, then you stop hoping that some objective miracle will take you to God or total fulfillment. Then you stop running after all hanky-panky stuff.
We can allow the mind to take control of the rest of the body, the other parts of the body, besides the mind itself, and also disidentify from the mind and the rest of the body. But the mind is still, I'm asking a question, I guess, is the mind still sort of filtering and discerning what is acceptable and what is not, and what is good and what is bad, and so forth?
Loosely, we treat the mind and the body as two entities. They are not. Really speaking, the body does not exist. Only the mind exists. That which you call as the body is a mental projection. So to say that the mind can control the body or guide the body is not really meaningful. There is only the mind, just the mind.
I said the rest of the body, like I said the mind controlling the rest of the body, yeah? Because it is all the same, but the hand is not the mind. I mean, the hand is part of the mind, but it, maybe the mind
When
chooses.
when you say the rest of the body, you are probably talking of the brain and the rest of the body. Because if you say mind and rest of the body, you are implicitly saying that the mind is one part of the body. The brain is one part of the body. The mind and the brain hardly have anything to do with each other. The brain is your personal seat of personal consciousness. It does not have anything to do with the mind. Please, consciousness in the sense that we know it has not much to do with the mind. The mind is the vast space in which infinite kinds of consciousnesses are rising and falling. Your particular brain amounts to your particular consciousness, not the mind.
I think maybe the mind would be a sense door, just like I use the ears for hearing, maybe the mind is used for thinking, and the eyes are used for seeing, and so forth. And we experience sounds just like we experience thoughts. Yeah.
All right, loosely let's take
Yeah.
that. So then what is the question?
So, like, in this model of maybe we allow the hand to naturally, like the laws of nature, to naturally sort of do their thing, and we don't really I mean, it's not really important to us. It just kind of naturally does its thing, and at the same time, maybe part of that is like the social contract, for example. So like, I'm a child and I get in some fight, and then I learn violence causes me suffering or pain physically as an effect. So then I learn not to use violence when I become angry. And this maybe can naturally also happen, like the mind can naturally make decisions. I'm becoming angry, I will calm down, and maybe, like, even though I'm not really a part of this, I'm just observing it all happening. But I'm just getting clear that this is what you're saying, because I don't want to misinterpret what you're saying as maybe like you can do whatever you want. If you're angry, you can use violence. If you're turned on by someone, you can rape them, or things like this. Like, there has to be the mind also filtering sort of the actions.
Even when the mind is doing all of that, you are still not needed. The confusion that you are facing is that you are taking the body as material and the mind as yourself. We have already clarified that not only is the body material, even that which you call as consciousness, intellect and everything, that is also equally material. So just as the hand knows what to do, similarly the intellect also knows what to do. Neither do you need to interfere with the body, nor do you need to interfere with the mind. If the body experiences hunger, the mind knows what all to do to take care of hunger. You are again not needed. You are thirsty. Your throat is short of humidity. It tells that this material needs another material called water, which is kept on the table there. Now it is the job of the intellect to figure out how to move to that table, how to reach out to the glass, and what to do next after drinking the water. Why do you need to be involved? The entire system by itself takes care of itself. The throat says, I am hungry or thirsty, and the intellect figures out a way to reach to the glass of water. You are again not needed.
Can I ask something? Why would you introduce intellect to that? I mean, if you are small enough not to be able to walk, you never will reach the glass of water. If you're old enough to walk, you don't need an intellect. You have to have observed a similar act, and then you will move and get the glass of water. There is no intellect needed.
That which you call as not needing an intellect is suggested to you by the intellect.
That's true.
You see, there is something that tells you that right now you need to figure out a way to obtain water. And at other times you don't need to figure out a way to obtain water because it is just close by. Even this distinction is provided to you by that which we call as intellect. A way is needed. Of course, the intellect is there to find out a way. A way is not needed. The intellect is there to say that no way is needed. The stuff is obvious. But whether the intellect says that a way is needed or whether it says that a way is not needed, it's still the domain of the intellect. One does not need to personally get involved. One does not need to make it a matter of personal like and dislike and glory and defeat. I earned the water. Please honor me. Or I failed to get the water. I bury my head in shame. Not needed. The intellect tried, the intellect succeeded. The intellect tried, the intellect failed. Why must we be worried? Who was trying to reach to the water? The body and the intellect. Come on, it's their own personal matter. Why should I take somebody else's personal matter personally? So I don't mind whatever happens. I don't mind whatever is happening in the mind. I don't mind whatever is happening to the body. It's the body's own personal affair.
Is there a way to explain why we are interfering, or it's just from objective, or it's just from object side question?
So just as there is the material, there is also the I tendency. The I tendency that is hungry for the non-material but lives in the space of the material. So it keeps hoping, expecting, trying, knocking, experimenting, and without exception, failing. The I tendency wants fulfillment, and it will want to get fulfillment at any cost. If it feels that the body can take it to fulfillment, it will exploit the body. If it feels that the intellect can take it to fulfillment, then it will exploit the intellect. You will become an intellectual. If it feels that something else can take it to fulfillment, it will become attached to that. It will chase that. The I tendency lives in a sense of incompleteness, in a sense of lack of fulfillment. Something is missing. I need to be somewhere. Something is not yet perfect. Something needs to be added. Something needs to be done. Some distance needs to be covered. Something needs to be bettered. That's the I tendency. The I tendency somewhere knows that its efforts are not quite working out, but it is helpless, because all it can do is try and try. So it keeps trying and trying till the last breath. That's the story of human life. Keep trying till you are gone. And then, once again.
Yes.
Can
can we call I as ego? Like, is like I and ego the same?
For the purpose of our discussion, they are the same. In other contexts, there are subtle differences. But in context of this discussion, yes, you can call them the same.
Sir, this I seems standing nowhere, but still it is being said that why do I worry? Let matter play to matter.
Why do?
Why do I worry? So then again it seems there is I somewhere.
There is I everywhere because we are worried. It is not as if my statement leads to worry. Your pre-existing worry leads to my statement. Had you not been worried, why would I talk of worry? But wherever I look at, I only see worries. Why does this city exist? Because the entire world is worried about its enlightenment. So whichever direction I look at, all I see is worries. Why do you think this hall exists? Why do you think those posters there exist? Don't you see human unfulfillment expressing itself in 1,000 ways? Why do you think all these shops exist? Don't you see they exist because you are worried? And when you are worried, then the quality of your action is quite worrisome. You go to such shops. There is only worry. What else is this world? A big worry. Is it not? How do I take care of my world? When I say the world, it appears as if I am talking of some impersonal world. But the world means my world. To you it is your world, to him it's his world, and these are not the same. Entire human life is about securing your own personal world. So what is the world? Just a big worry. Because you are worried about securing it, preserving it. And I should not only secure it during my lifetime. I have to ensure that it remains secured even after I am gone. So you have a lot of inheritance laws and insurance companies. And a lot of relatives who start buzzing around after you have crossed 70. And if you are rich. When you look at the world, what arises within you? If the world is not pleasant, then you are worried that you need to change it. If the world is pleasant, then you are worried that you need to secure the pleasantness. In either case, you are worried. Now we are worried about being so worried. I have been asked this question many a times. Sir, what would we live for if there are no worries? So not having worries in itself is a big worry. And look at the question. What would we live for if there are no worries? I mean, what would I spend my day doing? Well, I would get up in the morning and there is nothing to be taken care of. There is nothing to be set right. There is nothing wrong anywhere. What do I live for? Everything is just all right. Now I'm such a misfit. Because I am the only one who is not alright. If everything is alright, do you see the horror? What would we do then? So the world must remain a worry. If the world does not remain a worry, then we get pushed out of the world. Yes.
We could sing and dance, maybe?
Maybe. But that bores us down, doesn't it? We are used to going to our offices. We are used to looking at our productivities. We are used to not wasting time. And if there is nothing to worry about, then you are really just wasting your time, aren't you? Because we call time as well spent only when time is spent correcting a situation, facing a problem. Have you noticed that? Whenever you have said something right, then you say that your time has been well spent. And if everything is all right, then your time will necessarily be wasted. That does not sound too inviting, or does it? Sitting idle, doing nothing, wasting time. Just singing and dancing. Just singing and dancing.
Well, it all depends why you sing and dance.
Is there ever a why without a worry?
No.
So if singing and dancing arise from a why, then it's again a very worrisome song. Have you not heard songs of worries? To sing and dance without a why is so easy that it becomes impossible. How do you justify what you are doing? How do you answer questions? What happens to your social status? Somebody may just drag you to the court. This fellow was singing and dancing for no reason whatsoever. He is a national disaster. He must be shot out of this planet.
Can it be said then that it is a blessing that we have worry? Because if not, then maybe we wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
Really?
To those who must worry, worries are blessings. To those who must worry, worries are blessings. What else would you then eat? What else then would you sleep on? You eat worries, you sleep on worries. You breathe in worries, you breathe out worries. So obviously, if you must live on worries, then you require more and more worries. And when you require more worries, existence obliges. How many more do you want? You will get twice the number. Must you live on worries?
Are you asking me?
Of course.
Well, if there's an I, then
Must
yes.
there be that? Are you obliged to live with all of that?
The well,
Time and more time will not help you with the answer. The answer is obvious and spontaneous. So don't take so much time. Thought will not help you come to the right answer. Just say no. Of course, you are not obliged to live like this. Nobody is obliged to live like this. The world is not obliged to be what we have made it to be. There could very easily and very well be a different world and a different humanity. What you are seeing with your eyes today is not the only possibility. In fact, it is the most perverted possibility. It is an impossibility that we are seeing with our eyes. It's a miracle that that which could not have happened has happened. Man has turned himself into this, and life has turned into a never-ending series of worries. What else? I'm sure nobody designed it this way. I'm sure nobody is sadistic enough to want such a universe. Do you really want the Ganga to be as dirty as she is? Here probably you don't perceive it. Maybe you could go a little lower into the plains and then see. Do you think she was destined to be so filthy? Just 100 kilometers downstream from here, you will not recognize her face. Pitch black at some places. You really think things must be this way?
There's no good or no bad, so it is like it is.
Is it not so for you? We are not discussing concepts here. Is there no good and no bad for you?
For me, yeah. Because
So I'm asking you then.
for person, yeah.
Of course. It's the person that has spoiled the river, so I'm asking the person.
Yeah.
Do you really want her to be that way? And instead of looking at the direct realities of life, we are busy entertaining ourselves with spiritual axioms. We don't look at how messy our room is. We ask, who am I? What nonsense is this? Look at your bed sheet. Look at the marks. Look at the taints. Don't you know who you are? You are the one who spoils the sheet every night. Can't you read the writing on the wall? Why do you need to read the scriptures? It's all written on the wall. But you go and you say, classical Sanskrit, can you help me with it? We come to the Ganga. She stands symbolically as the representative of Shiva, the truth. We desecrate her. And then we go back thinking that some of the holiness has rubbed off upon us. Don't we see what we are doing? Have spiritual concepts and holy teachers totally blinded us? The final proof of anything and everything is life itself. Look at the quality of your life. That is the only proof of who you are. And is that not obvious? Please.
It's shocking what you're saying in this context.
Is it shocking?
Yes, yes.
Is it not obvious? Or is it shockingly obvious? Or is it obviously shocking?
All three.
And if it is so obvious, why don't you question your teachers? Why are you talking high-flying rhetoric and not the filth in the Ganga? Why don't they talk about that? Why don't they talk about the obvious realities of living? What is all this pretension? Why don't you talk about the relationship that you have with the dog in the street? Is that not more real and manifest than any God you can think of? The dog matters much more than God. But you won't talk of God, of the dog, because it doesn't pay and because it doesn't sound high-flying. We want to talk of abstract notions. We believe that holiness lies in clever quotes and fine methods. Holiness lies in the way you eat, live, breathe. Holiness lies in the way you touch the dog, the pigeon, your man, your woman, your child. Where else would you find holiness? In some sacred ritual? In some esoteric mantra? Are you searching for holiness there? And you're not looking at your woman's face? Yes, you don't see what's happening there?
Are you saying there's some effort involved?
I'm saying there's a lot of effort involved in denying the obvious. It remains a perpetual question how much we can lie to ourselves and how many shops exist to help us keep lying.
There's a belief that after realizing some spirituality, that good will come from this, and naturally, don't have to worry, no effort, naturally love and attend to things as is the inclination.
That story might have some substance to it, but please tell me, what is this realization? That which you call as spiritual enlightenment or something, what is that? And where would you find it? If you cannot find it in the way you relate to your bed sheet, where else would you find it? If you cannot find it in the way you clean your commode, where else would you find it? Have you looked at the relationship you have with the poor vendor on the street? Please. Have you looked at the relationship that you have with the waiter who serves you meals? And if you cannot find enlightenment there, what is the point in dealing with fancy notions and spiritual adages? Do you ever bother to look at these things, please? What do you eat? You're talking about compassion and eating chicken fry. And parallelly you are carrying a copy of the Upanishads. Come on. But our teachers would not tell us to look at life because that is challenging. And because then you would also be forced to look at the life of the teacher. If life is the final determinant, then the teacher will have to expose his life. Now he cannot remain a high-flying deity who just appears to you on a podium and goes back. Then you'll have to be forced to ask, Sir, how is your relationship with your sons? Sir, where is your wife? Sir, it is said that your darshan liberates everybody. Has your darshan liberated your wife, first of all? You will be forced to inquire into the living facts. You want to live rightly, right? Is that so difficult to answer? Ultimately, you are alive, are you not? Ultimately, you have a life that you want to take care of. So nothing else except your living matters. How do you live? With fear? With insecurity? How do you live? And in seeing all that, boldly, fearlessly, lies that which you may call as enlightenment if you want to. Nothing else is realization. What else would you realize? What is there to realize? In the name of enlightenment, all you can then come to is fancy conclusions. Please see that nothing else is available to realize. Only life is available. So please look at life in its totality. Look at your face in the mirror. How does it look? And then look at the face of a kid, 2 years old. And then ask yourself, what has all this spirituality given you? Look at your face. Yes, please.
I don't know how this is going to sound, but I think you're extremely judgmental.
Yeah?
You're making assumptions about me that I see, and the person you're speaking about is not me at all. The life I live has no resemblance whatsoever to the life that you're talking about.
It's possible. Fine.
For me, it's not possible. It is.
You see, ma'am, a Zen proverb says that you cannot strike a nail in open space. A nail needs something to penetrate. If there is nothing to penetrate, nobody can get hurt. All resentment arises when there is something that gets hurt. If there is nothing, then there can be no resentment either. Can you strike a nail in open space? So if really there is nothing that needs to be negated, then there would be no reaction either. Kindly note that in the entire length of this discourse, there is only this thing that stirred you into a reaction. Surely there is something there. There is something there that needs a strong denial. There is something there that needs to strongly assert that it is nothing. Now this something that wants to assert that it is nothing needs to be negated, not defended. For your own welfare, look into it. Don't talk to others about it. Look rather into it. And if you are insistent upon denying it, then I will gladly accept the denial because it is your life. If you insist that there is nothing there to be cleared, observed or seen, then I will gladly accept that because you and only you, and sadly only you, are in a position to look at it. I can only request, before all your energy starts flowing outwards, before your sense of hurt or reaction makes you look at the other, pause, relax, and look at life. Look at life as you spend it from morning till evening. Please, all of us, nothing else matters. How do you wake up? What is the quality of your mood throughout the day? Are you seen smiling? Is your face a smiling face? That is the only thing that matters. What else matters? What would you do with these concepts? Die with them? Die carrying a lot of concepts? How many more years are left to live? I'm asking you, how do you wake up? What is the quality of your life? When you look at your face in the mirror, do you see a blissful, contented face, or do you see a face beset with suffering, grief, rejection, reaction? You need to answer this for yourself. And only you can answer this. You insist that you don't want to answer this, I'll say, fine, your wish. Because it's your life. When we talk about observation, it is a very apt thing to see how the mind is restless to react. It can't even listen. In the course of the last 10 minutes of my reply, the hand has gone up at least 5 times. It's just too eager to boil over. That is what needs to be seen. It is not eager to go within. It is eager to react outwards. Otherwise, how can I raise my hand when the other is still in the middle of his answer? Can I really be full of questions and still be listening? Either I am particular about my question or I am listening, and the thing is, if I am not listening, how am I asking the question? If I am not listening, on what basis is the question being asked? Why should such a question be answered? But before the speaker says that such a question does not deserve to be answered, The observer herself must take the responsibility to cleanse her question. And if that does not happen, please, no speaker in the world can compel you to do that, because it is your life. Either you do it or nobody does it. Either you see it or nobody can push you to see it. And whether or not you see it depends on how much you love yourself. Unless you have become too attached to suffering, you will see that you are suffering. And seeing that there is suffering is the beginning and the end of the end. The suffering would be gone. Except that it is there and it is gone. It's magical, paradoxical. Except that it is there and it is gone. Deny that it is there and it persists. Acknowledge it and you are free of it. Deny it and you remain a slave to it. The fellow sitting here is a stranger. He would be gone. But life would remain with you, or would it not? You can deny the words of the stranger. How will you deny the facts of life? The facts of life will be there staring at you with every breath. We better come to terms with them. We better acknowledge them. There is nothing wrong with being judgmental, please. If seeing enables you to realize and you call that realization as a judgment, then judgments are wonderful. Let's not use this thing about not being judgmental as an alibi to not to see at all. Somebody is drunk and is falling or is committing a murder, and you call the murder a murder. If that means that you are being judgmental, you better be judgmental. If calling a spade is judgment, you better be judgmental. This too is a fad of contemporary spirituality. Don't judge. I say please judge. Just judge rightly. Because if you do not judge at all, then you are not seeing at all. If you look at the Ganga and do not judge what has happened to her, then you are blind. Do judge, but judge from the right center. Judge from a position of compassion. Judge from an impersonal point. Judge you must. Not judging is a trap as vicious as judging. From the wrong center, whether you judge or not judge, you are still at the wrong center. And from the right center, whether you judge or not judge, you are at the right center. So it's not about the judgment, it's about the judge. Be the right judge. And then the judgment will be just right. Judge rightly. Spirituality is not about becoming indifferent to what is going on. Spirituality is sensitivity. You see even more acutely. You start seeing things that you could not have seen earlier. The spiritual man is a man of the world. He is not a life denier. He does not seek refuge in holy aphorisms. He lives fully and rightly. He knows what is life. Have you looked at a Jesus, a Krishna, a Buddha? Do they look life deniers to you? They are men of action. They don't just preach. They are living and shining examples with their life. They lay down their life. They just don't say, you do this, you do that, you ask this, you figure that out, you find that out. A Krishna fights. He is physically present upon the battlefield. He is not just relaying some instructions from somewhere. He is not just the author of a holy book. He is a fighter. And he pays with his blood. So does Jesus. A Buddha does. And from his doing, you can see what he is all about. He's not merely preaching a few things. His life is an example of what he stands for. So look at life. Look at life. Even if you don't understand the words of Jesus, look at the life of Jesus. Even if you don't understand the Gita, look at the life of Krishna. Similarly, you have to look at your own life. How was it when you were having your breakfast this morning? How was it? Please. How would it be when you retire to bed tonight? Please. Would you sleep as one sleeps into death? Or would you sleep knowing fully well that you have to again wake up and again the same rigmarole is going to manifest itself? Do you sleep like a baby? Loose, carefree, in the lap of its mother? Or do you sleep like a haggard old one, waking up every 2 hours, bothered by thought, weighed down by responsibilities, tortured by memories, upset with all the betrayals that life has offered and inflicted? How do you sleep? That is the thing to be seen. How do you sleep? How do you look at the moon? Ask your teachers, why don't they talk about the moon? Please. And if you don't know how to look at the moon, are you alive? How many of us looked at the moon yesterday night? And if you aren't looking at the moon, of what use is your spirituality? If you are not looking at the moon, of what use is your spirituality? The essence of all spirituality is mysticism, not knowledge. No knowledge can take you to the moon. Only mad mysticism can take you to the moon. If you have knowledge about the moon is just stones, rocks and a little water. That's all that knowledge will tell you about the moon. What is your relationship with the moon, I am asking, please?
Are you saying the essence of everything is relationship, how you relate?
Of course. Very well said.
And the rest is just fantasy you dream.
Fantasy and perverted escape, which leads to so much of suffering. One suffers. Unnecessary suffering. Why can't we be real? Why must we wear fancy clothes and act like underpaid actors in some C-class drama? Somebody is walking around like a Hanuman. And there are others who are playing their own respective roles, clicking themselves with the Hanuman. Somebody is wearing holy robes and they are on sale in all the shops here. Fancy malas, lots of saffron and white. Is that real? Seriously? Is that who you are? What are you doing? Not only is it a drama, I repeat, it's a C-grade drama. One doesn't want to pay 150 rupees to watch it. And the actors are all not only amateurs, but also it's okay.
When a crowd of sorrows clears your house out empty of its furniture, is it not possible that it's making space for something even greater to come? Like, do I not come to satsang and I celebrate because I reach some sort of clarity, or is there not some liberation? Like, is there not liberation from something? Like, and therefore there is liberation, right? Like, this.
Provided there is actual liberation. Provided you are not walking back with more concepts, provided the so-called satsang is making you really look at the real, not carrying you into a make-believe world of fancies. What is the effect that this so-called satsang has upon you? Does it really bring you closer to life? Does it really make you more alert to your bedsheet? Does it really make you look at the mirror with deeper penetration? Does it really make you more alive to your relationships? Or does it give you another concept that you are that? Now you already are 10 things. The 11th thing is that. What is this so-called satsang that you're talking of? Satsang means company of the truth, not company of fanciful imaginations. Truth is a fire. It burns down all that which is nonsensical. Satsang has to be like a fire. It must turn to ashes all the rubbish that pervades our life. Instead, if you emerge from the satsang with even more rubbish, holy rubbish nevertheless, how is the satsang beneficial to you?
What rubbish?
You look at the earnestness with which you directly ask, what rubbish? That's the way to go about it. Now, what's your name?
Mike?
Mike. So at least this much you know about yourself. Instead, if you start asking, who am I? Who am I? Is that not rubbish? You already know that you are Mike, don't you? Do you know or not? Do you believe or not? I asked somebody, when the postman comes carrying a check of $5,000 for you, and he says, it is for Mike, do you say, who am I? Why don't you act real? Why don't you just say that you already are full of identities? When you are full of identities, when you are full of the I, then the first thing is to acknowledge the I, not deny it. No denial is possible without acknowledging first. But acknowledging is dangerous. Acknowledging would mean you will have to honestly look at life. Acknowledgement would mean that you can no more hide in concepts. Acknowledgement means before I rush into anything, I first ask, where is the intention to rush coming from? I want to join such classes. I want to follow a particular method. I want to read a book. All of these are all right. But have you ever inquired, what is it in you that is pushing you into this? Honestly inquired. Yesterday I said that it's quite possible that for the sake of violence, you cultivate your body and mind very well. You'll have a very fit body and you may have a very trained mind. But what is all that fitness and training towards? It's towards more violence. First of all, one has to see where one stands. And the answer to that cannot be found in textbooks. The answer to that will be found only in the way you lead your daily life. And for that one requires observation. One needs to see how one is listening. One needs to see how one is sitting. One needs to see whether one is still or fidgeting. And if you cannot see that, then your so-called spirituality has no value. If you cannot see what is happening to you right now, then what is the value of all your learning? If you cannot see how your mind is playing games right now, if you can't see how you are hiding your face right now, what is the worth of all the time, effort that has gone into spiritual practice? It has to be directly seen. There is no other option. Now it's up to you. Actually, it's always up to us. I can only point a little, request a little. Rest is always up to the individual.